What's up, guys? It's the Kid Izzy here, and I just want to let you know that you're about to enjoy another awesome episode of the Classic Chronicles. Now, something a little funny happened in this episode where I reviewed AEW All Out. My Siri on my MacBook went off, and you'll hear it in the vlog. And the reason why you'll hear it in the vlog is because I was already too far in recording, and I didn't want to re-record the whole thing. So I just decided to leave it in there. You can have a little laugh, and it's just the fun of recording a vlog and trying to do it in one take. So enjoy the vlog, enjoy my review of All Out. Like, subscribe, share, and don't forget to hit that notification button so you don't miss another video on the channel. Love you guys. Peace. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Classic Chronicles. I hope you guys enjoyed my last vlog where I reviewed NXT and NXT UK Worlds Collide. If you haven't checked that out, please do. But now, in the immortal words of Mark Henry, it is time for the main event of the weekend. AEW All Out, man. So this was a typical AEW pay-per-view lasting over 5 hours between the 0 hour, which is the pre-show, and the main card itself. So, and I'm gonna break down everything. Normally I just break down the highlights of the night, but I'm going to break down absolutely everything. So if you don't like long vlogs, this one ain't for you. But if you're gonna rock with me on this one, let's do it. Let's break it down. So the first match on the 0 hour was for the AAA Mixed Tag Team Championships. It featured Ruby Soho and Ortiz taking on the Jericho Appreciation Society's Sammy Guevara and Ty Mello, formerly known as Ty Conti. So this one was a really fun opener. It started out in a really fun way. Sammy got ran over by a golf cart for the third time in AEW in history, which it's always fun to see Sammy take those kinds of bumps. Ruby Soho and Ortiz brought the fight to those two, and this was the rubber match of the series between the two, with each team owning one victory apiece over one another. But in this particular instance, Sammy and Ty came out and retained the AAA Mixed Tag Team Championships. Lots of interference from Anna Jay, JAS, I should say. And yeah, Sammy and Tay got the Duke because of that. Next up, on the 0 hour, it was the FTW Championship on the line. It was the cold-hearted handsome devil Hook taking on the Jericho Appreciation Society's Cool Hand Angelo Parker with Matt Menard by his side. So Matt Menard is currently injured right now, so that's why he's not competing. But Cool Hand Angelo Parker is a hell of a wrestler in his own right. This match didn't last very long, as it lasted longer than Hook's typical outings. If you watch Hook compete, his matches are usually over in a minute or two. This one lasted maybe 6 to 8 minutes. Hook still got the win to retain the FTW World Championship. And after the match, Matt Menard came in to kind of put the boots to Hook, and Hook was saved by an unlikely hero in the form of rapper Action Bronson, who actually does Hook's theme song, "The Chairman's Intent." So Action Bronson took down Cool Hand Angelo Parker and Matt Menard, and hey, I gotta give it to Action Bronson, man. Yeah, nice. He did a nice takedown on Matt. That was on Angelo Parker. Did a nice takedown on him to kind of save Hook. So that was cool. Cool to see that. Third match of the night was third match of the pre-show was Pac defending the brand new All Atlantic Championship against Kip Sabian. Uh, it was really cool to see Kip Sabian back on AEW TV. He had been out with an injury for a while, and then they had no creative direction for him. So this is a perfect opportunity, and he brought the fight to Pac. But Pac ended up retaining the AEW All Atlantic Championship against him, against Kip Sabian, and like I said, it was really cool to see him back. Uh, did it with the Black Arrow, and then the final match of the 0 Hour, which was an absolute war. It was Eddie Kingston taking on the Stone Pitbull Tomohiro Ishii. Yeah, so like I said, it was an absolute war. These two beat the piss out of each other, chops and suplexes, just everything that you could imagine, man. Nothing fancy, no freaking shooting star presses, no super kicks, no none of that. It was just two men beating the shit out of each other, which is what you want. I love watching two men just kick the absolute shit out of each other, and this was a dream match for me. It was the second meeting between the two, and Eddie Kingston came out on top in this war. So hopefully he gets his dream of Jun Akiyama, and they do it at Grand Slam, which I'll be at later this month. That would be absolutely amazing. So yeah, here we go. Let's take it over to the main show. So the main show. The All Out card kicked off with the Casino Ladder match, which made its return, and the winner of that match gets a World Heavyweight Championship match at any time of their choosing. Kind of like AEW's version of Money in the Bank. So it was Dante Martin who made his pay-per-view debut. Rush Andrade from La Facción Ingobernable, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta of the Blackpool Combat Club, Penta and Rey Fenix, and the Joker. So, and we will get to the Joker later on in this review, because he plays a big role later on. So basically, the match never really got started because Stokely Hathaway came out with his group of guys, which all are guys that kind of are underutilized in the bit. Well, he realized that are underutilized in the business. So you had William Morrissey, formerly known as Big Cass. You had the Gun Club, Colton and Austin Gunn himself, and then you had the Joker. Lee Moriarty is also in that group, and then you had the Joker. And Stokely Hathaway basically came out. His men beat down the participants in the match that I just mentioned, and Stokely Hathaway ended up grabbing the chip off the from the ceiling where it was hanging, and the Joker came out and he just gave it to the Joker, and that's how the match ended. Like I said, we'll get to the Joker a little bit later on in this review, but for right now, we're gonna jump to the AEW Trios Tag Team Championship match. So there was a tournament to introduce the Trios Tag Team Champions, and some really good bangers of matches, especially the United Empire versus the Elite, and yeah, so it was the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks taking on the Dark Order, John Silver, Alex Reynolds, and Hangman Page. It was originally supposed to be John Silver, Alex Reynolds, and Evil Uno, but Evil Uno suffered a kayfabe injury, meaning he's not really injured, but for the purposes of the storyline, he got injured. So Hangman Adam Page stepped in to take Evil Uno's place, and what do you call it? So for the purposes of this storyline, the Elite and Adam Page have a lot of history together because they were best friends at one point, and the Young Bucks ended up turning their back on Adam Page, and Adam Page is still pretty bitter about that, even though he went and carved out a nice singles career for himself. So this is pretty cool, and Kenny Omega and Adam Page have history in this match because Adam Page took the AEW World Championship from Kenny Omega last time they shared a ring at Full Gear 2021. So this was nice to see all of that come full circle. And so the Elite ended up getting the best of the Dark Order after Hangman Page accidentally hit John Silver with a buckshot lariat, which is his version of a lariat, basically knocking John Silver out. And Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks were able to take advantage of that and secure the victory, thus becoming your first ever AEW Trios Tag Team Champions. Next up was the TBS Championship. Jade Cargill, who is at 36 and 0, taking on newcomer Athena, formerly known as Ember Moon, in WWE. So they had a nice back and forth match for the TBS Championship, I should say. And Jade Cargill ended up defeating Athena and going 37 and 0 on her current streak. Not to mention that Jade Cargill came out dressed as She-Hulk and did a She-Hulk-esque entrance, which is pretty cool to see. Jade Cargill is a big cosplay and comic book fan, so every pay-per-view or every special match that she has, she designs her gear based on something that she likes from the world of comics or anime and everything like that. So it's pretty cool. You look forward to her pay-per-view entrances to see what she's gonna do. So next up was a really fun 6-man tag team matchup featuring FTR, the current. Why am I introducing them as just the FTR? They are the IWGP, Ring of Honor, and AAA Tag Team Champions. FTR, aka 7-Star FTR, aka the Top Guys. Oh man, just so many monikers, and these are they're not just fancy monikers either. They live up to every single one of them. They teamed up with the TNT champion Wardlow to combat taking on Jay Lethal and his buddies, the Motor City Machine Guns, a hell of an accomplished tag team in their own right. Former Impact Wrestling Tag Team Champions, and they basically won Tag Team Gold everywhere they went. Everywhere they've gone, I should say. So yeah, this was a really fun match, and Wardlow ended up beating Jay Lethal with the Powerbomb Symphony, which he powerbombs his opponent 4 times and just overpowers them and gets the Duke. And you know, it was a real cool moment after the during FTR's entrance and after the match as well, where Dax Harwood's daughter ended up coming out. For those of you, one of FTR's daughters, Dax Harwood, the bald guy. If you see a picture, you'll see what I'm talking about. He has a daughter, Finley, who has a heart murmur, which I know a little bit about because I had one as well. So it's tough to deal with. It's a very difficult thing to deal with, and She's a fighter and one hell of a tough little girl. Um, they even had shirts made, that said "Fight like an 8-year-old girl," which is what she's been doing. So major props to her. So her and Sanjay Dutt shared a little bit of ring time where she snapped Sanjay Dutt's pencil that he carries, and she ended up pinning him, which is pretty cool. But after the match, Jay Lethal and Satnam Singh ended up jumping FTR, and Samoa Joe came back to make the save. So it's cool to see Joe back. Joe is the Samoa Joe is the Ring of Honor World Television Champion, but hasn't been on TV lately due to him filming Twisted Metal, the series for Peacock. So that just recently wrapped. So he's back on TV. You'll see him a little more going forward. So yeah, okay. Let's see here. Next up, it was Powerhouse Hobbs taking on Ricky Starks. It was a really short match, but I like the aggressiveness of Ricky Starks. He came out in his Bulls-inspired gear, with wearing red and white. It was cool. So yeah, but Powerhouse Hobbs unfortunately ended up getting the win on that one. Not really much to talk about there. With the spine buster, Powerhouse Hobbs won with the spine buster. Next up was the AEW World Tag Team Championship match. Swerve and Our Glory took on the Acclaimed. Super fun match. Had us. We were all in a movie theater. I should have mentioned that at the beginning. I saw the AEW pay-per-view at a movie theater, and during the show we were all on the edge of our seats when that match was happening, because we thought the Acclaim was going to beat Swerve and Our Glory for the AEW World Tag Team Championships, but that was not meant to be on this particular night. Swerve and Our Glory, Keith Lee and Shane Strickland, Swerve Strickland, ended up retaining the World Tag Team Championships in a very hard-fought match. Anthony Bowen sold the knee very well. Max Caster did his thing. I truly hope one day that Tony Khan pulls the trigger and puts the Tag Team Championships on the Acclaim, because they are super over, and they're very fun to watch. And as they say, everybody loves the Acclaim, myself included. There is, just saying, as they said on the AEW post media show, that the perfect place to do this would be New York City, which just happens to be the hometown of the Acclaim, and they will be in Queens, New York on September 21st. Again, AEW Grand Slam. Perfect time to pull the trigger. If you don't do it there, I don't know, Tony, you fucking up if you don't do it there. But anyway, yeah. So really fun match. Great match between those two teams. Next up, you had the interim AEW Women's World Championship match. Hikaru Shida, Jamie Hayter, Britt Baker, and Toni Storm all fought to become the interim AEW Women's World Champion on account of the actual AEW Women's World Champion Thunder Rosa revealing about a week before the show that she is out with an undisclosed back injury, and she doesn't know when she'll be back. So of course, rather than stripping the current champion of their title, the AEW crowns an interim world champion, and then a unification match takes place later on down the line when the world champion is ready, when the actual world champion is ready. So Toni Storm ended up taking the win on that one, and she is now your new AEW interim women's world champion. And barring anything that happens before, Thunder Rosa gets back, it'll be her and Thunder Rosa for the undisputed AEW Women's World Championship at some point. which was supposed to be the original match at All Out. And yeah, so we're gonna get it later on down the line. Shout out, congratulations to Tony Storm. She was greatly misused on the WWE main roster. Not so much during NXT UK because she did very, very well over there. But when she got to the main roster of WWE, she was grossly misused. So it's great to see her being used correctly. Okay, next up, uh, Christian Christian Cage defeated Jungle Boy. Now, this was a really, really quick match. Not because, for shock and awe purposes, uh, but because Christian is actually dealing with a legit injury. So rather, AEW uh, really, really hyped this match. So they wanted to kind of have the match deliver, like give us the match without Christian taking any further damage to whatever injury he's dealing with. So basically, Jungle Boy came out and at the beginning of the match and said that and was looking for his tag team partner Luchasaurus, who was aligned with Christian previously, but then decided to realign himself with Jungle Boy. But then, during the match last night, he realigned himself with Christian. I know, confusing, but yeah, so, and helped Christian pick up the win against Jungle Boy. Let me just say that the promos leading up to this match were absolutely masterful. Christian is an absolutely masterful heel, and all you young guys in the business that are trying to become heels, take a lesson from Christian because he put on an absolute masterclass. He made you hate him. He, by talking about the late Luke Perry, who is Jungle Boy's father, and taking shots at his family, his mother, and his sister, who were in the crowd last night too. So definitely take some notes from Christian on how to heal properly, how to be a proper heel, I should say. Uh, and then next up, it was Chris Jericho taking on Bryan Danielson, or should I say, Lionheart Chris Jericho. Uh, he brought back his old Lionheart gear from the mid '90s. This was after the Thrill Seekers in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. This was kind of ECW Chris Jericho, Lionheart Chris Jericho. Like from '95 to like '98, he did the Lionheart gimmick. And it was really cool to see him use his old Rob Zombie theme. And yes, he has done it on Dynamite before, but it was cool to see Chris Jericho bring it out on pay-per-view. So Lionheart Chris Jericho is basically the iteration of Chris Jericho where he's very, very technically sound, and the whole last graduate of the Heart Dungeon and all of that good stuff. So definitely Chris Jericho is the man, the master of reinvention, and that's very hard to do. He's had a 30-year career at this point, just constantly reinventing himself, whether it's the Painmaker, whether it's Y2J, whether it's a little bit of the bubbly Jericho. Just the constant reinvention is what keeps Chris Jericho going, and you love to see it. And on the other side of the coin, you had Bryan Danielson. Man, it is so good to see him being able to finally wrestle, being able to wrestle and not being relegated to being told what moves he can and can't do on television or whatever the case is. Man, it's just awesome. And also it also feels good to hear him say you're gonna get your fucking head kicked in, which is a nod to his indie time on the indies, man, during Ring of Honor, his dominant Ring of Honor run as world champion, where he had classic matches against Nigel McGuinness, Samoa Joe, and others, man. So definitely cool to see Bryan Danielson get it done. But it was a really, really good technical match. But Chris Jericho cheated GD to win.
I couldn't find G-Eazy in your Apple Music library. You can ask me to play a radio station or ask for your music on it.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, sorry about that. Chris Jericho won with a low blow, and got the best of Bryan Danielson. Yeah, I might just leave that in there. Oh man, the ups and downs of recording a vlog. So yeah, and as Daniel Garcia was very disappointed in Chris Jericho because he told him he didn't have to cheat previously to win, but he did, and Daniel Garcia is very disappointed. And yeah, so moving on with the card. So the next match was Sting, Darby Allin, and Miro taking on the House of Black. Buddy Matthews, Brody King, and Malachi Black. Really fun six-man tag. The House of Black ended up losing to Sting, Darby, and Miro after Sting spit the trademark Black Mist of the House of Black in Malachi Black's eyes. So kind of giving them a taste of their own medicine. So yeah, that was Sting and Darby Allin and Miro getting the Duke over the House of Black. And after that, it was finally time for the main events. CM Punk taking on Jon Moxley for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. So this one, it was a little bit of a weird road to get here. So CM Punk injured his foot in May, at the beginning of at the end of May, after winning the championship from Hangman Adam Page at Double or Nothing. He injured his foot, wrestled on it, injured it, made it worse, and had to stay out for a while. And so he came back and defended the World Championship against Jon Moxley, who became the interim World Champion in his absence. So they kind of CM Punk lost that championship match in quick fashion in about maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and everybody was wondering what the hell are they going to do with the World Championship. So the following week, this was this week on Dynamite, right before All Out, so Wednesday, CM Punk comes out all sad, asking what's next, saying he doesn't know what's next for him, what is he gonna do, and then CM Punk's mentor and friend and trainer Ace Steel comes out, who's a backstage producer and hell of an indie wrestler in his own right, comes out and says, you know what, no, this is not the CM Punk that I know. You're gonna fight Jon Moxley, and you're gonna beat the shit out of him, and that riles up CM Punk. CM Punk cuts an impassioned promo saying that you're not gonna be able to beat him, and he is Chicago, and just putting over Punk's hometown of Chicago. That was real cool. So the match comes, and it's violent as you would expect. Jon Moxley busted open CM Punk early in the match by ramming his head under the ring posts, but CM Punk was able to get the win by hitting 2 go to sleeps on Jon Moxley, and getting the 1-2-3. But the night was not over, because remember, as I said at the beginning, the Joker played a huge role in the end of the night. So the Joker, not the Batman character, the Joker in the casino battle royal that I alluded to at the beginning. Okay, so the lights go out, and all of a sudden you see a clip from Ring of Honor, where CM Punk says during his initial Summer of Punk run. So what the Summer of Punk was for those of you who don't know or that are unfamiliar with Ring of Honor, it was a time where CM Punk just went on a dominant run as the Ring of Honor World Champion, and at the end of that summer, he had left for WWE, to sign with WWE. So he went on this crazy run, and then at the end of the summer, he signed with WWE and had to relinquish the Ring of Honor World Championship. So during that heel run, there was a quote that said that he said that, you know, the greatest trick the devil ever played was making you believe he didn't exist. So that quote was used in this hype video to hype up the Joker as, you know, the lights went out. So Joker, he comes on screen, and you see him with his back turned, and then he takes off his mask to reveal the scarf. And if you watch AEW and professional wrestling, and if the only person that you know that currently wears a scarf, unlike no other, is none other than MJF, who left the company about 3 months earlier. He left right after the Double or Nothing pay-per-view, due to a dispute with AEW president and owner Tony Khan over money and a few other things. He was unhappy with his spot in the company, so he left and took some time off. And then you actually, which very rarely gets done, you actually hear the private voicemails that Tony Khan left MJF to persuading him to come back. And you know, as soon as his music hit, MJF, the crowd in Chicago went nuts, as did we in the movie theater. And it looks like it will be MJF challenging CM Punk for the AEW World Championship. Now, these two feuded earlier in the year, with Punk getting the best of MJF in a dog collar match, but this time the stakes are a lot more higher. The AEW World Championship is on the line, and I hope MJF, you know, wins, because the goddamn sure deserves it. 24 years old, probably the best heel in the business today, bar none, hands down. Yeah, so it is going to be very interesting to see where that goes, man. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this one. That is going to do it for my coverage of All Out and this vlog. And like, subscribe, share. Don't forget to hit that notification button so you don't miss a video. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.